ever Elimination Chamber match. That was November 17th of 2002. Number 3, The Undertaker debut, November 22nd, 1990. Well, I tell you what, I was one of the biggest Hulk Hogan fans when I was young. So, The Undertaker upsets Hulk Hogan, November 27th, 1991. That's my number 2.
Yeah, that's one that I went and looked at some lists online. That one was on some consistently on top 10 lists.
Yeah. And then the number 1, I don't know why I couldn't see. I can't even talk. I don't know why I couldn't say the number 1. The Rock debut, November 17th, 1996. And of course, at the time, he had a stupid gimmick.
Rocky Maivia.
Right, and he was dressed
the
like...
Blue Chip, they call him the Blue Chip.
Like a Polynesian islander. And he wasn't the Rock just yet with the swag. But, hey, I'm glad somebody said, you know what? This isn't working. Mm-hmm. Let's do something about it.
Well, 2 years, you talk about the Rock debut exactly 2 years later at Survivor Series 98. This is also one of the, considered, at least, by most wrestling fans, one of the greater moments of Survivor Series. The Rock turned heel and joined the corporation at Survivor Series 1998 and won, I think it might have been his first WWE championship at the time. So that's another Survivor Series moment.
Right, and that's when kind of the wrestling universe turned upside down, where it was all of a sudden cool to be a heel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Unless you were Stone Cold Steve Austin, because people just, man, like, I'm telling you, you put up a Stone Cold segment earlier this week on our Facebook page, and I went to comment, I forgot to comment, but, you go look at some of these Stone Cold segments in the late 90s, cannot be topped, ever. I don't care who you are. I mean, I could go on all day on the WWE Network and watch Raw from the 90s. I'll skip the Stone Cold segment, and I mean, he could have been shooting a promo on the crowd, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, and then Stone Cold, while he was a face, he really wasn't that much of a face because, I mean, if you're a face, you don't talk like that.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. That was the unique thing about Stone Cold. Like, you think a good guy wouldn't beat up your boss all the time. But then again, the boss was the evil Mr. McMahon. It wasn't Vince McMahon. It was the evil Mr. McMahon, the evil boss who tried to make Austin's life a living hell and did at times.
Yeah.
And, Stone Cold also made McMahon's life just a living hell, too, sometimes. So it was, and that right there, one of the greatest rivalries in the history of wrestling, McMahon versus Austin. I mean,
most definitely. When he beats him up in the hospital. That was so funny.
Where he hits him over the head with the pan and just the noise it makes. Holy cow, man. That every time it gets me, it's awesome. And then he zaps him with the whatever it is, the shock things he zaps.
Yeah, the defibrillator.
Yep, the defibrillator. He shocks him with that. And then he takes the catheter and sticks it where the sun's going. That was amazing.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and get to the rumor mill.
Okay.
Let's save the best for last.
Okay, let's do that.
So we'll talk about Lesnar and Mahal at the end.
Okay.
Because that's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have conflicting stories here of what we're seeing on the internet.
Yeah.
Let's start off with there's some rumors on the internet right now about Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. And they've been putting out some very cryptic tweets lately about the game is fixing to be changed. Mm-hmm. Eric Bischoff just had a tweet saying, game just changed. Stay tuned. Right? So a lot of people are thinking, quite possibly, the game changer could be Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan, hooking up with Billy Corben and the National Wrestling Alliance.
That could be huge.
Now, as we know, Corgan's got some deep pockets. He's probably finding different sponsors and different like-minded, deep-pocketed guys to come on his team. They've been having some really good documentaries or mini-docs on their YouTube page about the 10 pounds of gold. And shout out to Tim Storm, who is right now the current NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. He wrestled yesterday at Full Throttle Wrestling here in Lake Charles. Great cat. He is so cool to be where he is and to wrestle as long as he has and have such a great attitude. Because I'd imagine there's a lot of douches in the business.
Oh, absolutely. It's countless.
And he actually, and then James Beard was there as well. He's a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame referee. He is currently now the NWA Director of Operations. And they were here in Lake Charles defending the 10 pounds of gold. But they told the promoter, Teddy, when he had him in the night before, they let go of some events just to come here to Lake Charles because there's not many good guys in the business anymore. And they said they wanted to do this for Teddy. So, I mean, that was really cool, and they're great with the fans. So big ups there. They got a great champion. But can you imagine with Bischoff at the helm, Corgan's money, and then you bring in the biggest superstar in wrestling of all time to rocket this promotion back to where it was back in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that because, of course, we know what Bischoff did with WCW in the 90s. Now, granted, it didn't work out, but now, you know, you could take that. And then, of course, he had Ted Turner's money, and, I mean, you know, limitless money is what he had. And, you know, with Bischoff's brain and, you know, you could say Corgan's pockets, and now Bischoff, you know, 20 years later, obviously, a little bit better mind of the business. You never know what could happen with that.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that gets me interested about it is, I mean, I don't know if they will ever reach where WWE is now, but just like Corgan was saying in one of the documentaries, you know, the past means something, and it can't be forgotten. Flair had that belt. Harley Race had that belt. So many names down the line that are just, I mean, immortal names in wrestling history held the 10 pounds of gold. So they have that going for them. Then you get the biggest superstar in the world. I'm excited. I'm marking out.
You're marking out, man. Hey, and that is what makes wrestling so great. The moments, things like this, that make you mark out. And that's why we call this Mark Out Mania, because we want to tell you things that when you're listening, you just mark out and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for that, you know? So that's what we like to do here.
Right. All right, let's get to Jinder Mahal and Brock Lesnar.
Okay, so, you know, of course, Jinder drops the belt. They started hyping up Jinder versus Brock at Survivor Series, and now it's going to be AJ versus Brock. But, you know, a lot of people are wondering, well, why did Jinder drop the belt all of a sudden, and now it's AJ versus Brock? Rumor has it that apparently this was the original rumor that Brock didn't think it was a money fight, and you know, I would have to agree with them. Didn't think it was a money fight, so they decided, all right, well, we're going to put the belt on AJ and have you face AJ. So that was the original rumor, and now I'm hearing things that apparently Jinder's a little banged up. He's not hurt to where he can't compete, but you know, with the India tour coming up, they want Jinder to be at full strength. So they took the belt off of Jinder, gave it to AJ, so that way AJ could go in, you know, fully healthy, face a guy like Brock. Because let's face it, anybody that steps in the ring with Brock, they're going to get thrown around, they're going to get manhandled one way or the other, they're going to get sent to Suplex City, and I think they didn't want Jinder to be that guy because, like I said, they want him to be fully healthy for the India tour because he's going to be probably the most hot guy in India whenever they go there. So, and I don't know if he's going to win the belt back before the India tour or when he gets on the India tour, which now we know he's going to be facing Triple H on the India tour. So, of course, obviously Triple H not the champion. So it makes you wonder if after Survivor Series somehow they're going to put this belt back on Jinder, or if they're just going to let AJ ride with it. And I would rather them let AJ ride with it, but I'm not the man that makes the decision. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We don't know if Jinder's going to win the belt back or if he's going to win it on the tour. And, you know, and then you were talking about Jinder was disputing it on social media. He's not hurt. He, you know, and some people have thought maybe he got busted with the wellness policy. He didn't get busted with the wellness policy. It just seemed like basically on his Instagram post, you know, just I lost to the better man tonight, and I'm going to get my title back the next time I get a chance. And, you know, part of me believes that because, like I said, they want to have him the champion when they go to India where he's going to face Triple H. So, I mean, what's your take on the whole Lesnar-Mahal situation?
Well, we do have the audio, if you haven't heard it, with Triple H sending that challenge out to Jinder Mahal. We have that audio. We're going to play it for you here in a second. Now, here's my take on it. I'm more apt to believe that it was Brock who put the kibosh on it. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Who wanted to see Brock in Jinder Mahal?
I didn't.
A whole bunch of nobody.
I mean, I'm not saying I didn't want to see it because, look, I've said it probably in the first episode. I don't think he's a great wrestler, but that doesn't mean he can't become a good wrestler. He's a great heel. He's not bad on the mic. I don't think he's that bad on the mic. It's just up until this point, up until he was WWE champion, he wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
And he was a jobber, a glorified jobber, if anything.
Yeah.
And, he got bigger, he got stronger. It looked like he was on steroids, but, if he says he wasn't on steroids, I believe the man, because why would... And I would say, why would it have to be on steroids? But obviously, he would have a reason to get on steroids to obviously up his career. But, I truly think he's a guy, he works hard in the gym. He really enjoys wrestling. And I think he really wants to try and get better. So, but now, he's possibly hurt. And, and he's had to, he's carried some weight over the summer and for that 170 days that he was champion. So, give him a little bit of a rest. Don't put him in the ring with the beast because, let's face it, that should be a squash match, and nobody wants to see that because I don't see how you could legitimately have Jinder Mahal give Brock Lesnar a run for his money, whereas AJ, I could definitely see AJ giving Brock a run for his money.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this audio right now, and then I'm going to tell you what PW Insider is saying about the India tour.
On my recent trip to Mumbai, I was asked 1,000,000 times, would I consider stepping back into the ring in India in December? I've decided, India, that if you want it bad enough, I will. Reply here, let me hear your voice, and if it is loud enough, then I will return to New Delhi on December the 9th, and I will step into that ring to compete, but it won't be against just anybody. It will be for the biggest match in India's history. It'll be the modern-day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, the former WWE champion, against the King of Kings, the Game, the cerebral assassin, the biggest match in India's history. The question is, India, Jinder Mahal, are you ready?
He's got a cool voice.
Yeah, he does. He always had that voice where you could be a bad guy, he could be a good guy, he could get you fired up when he was in DX. Oh, are you ready? And stuff. And, the way he was talking, I mean, he's hyping this up to be a big deal. And like I said, going back to the fact that I don't think Jinder's a great wrestler, but a guy like Triple H can make him look very good. So I don't know if this is going to be televised at some point. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to just be live shows, but I'm sure there's going to be a video of this match somewhere, some way, somehow. So I'm interested to see how this could turn out, especially if Jinder's champion, because let's say he puts the title on the line against Triple H. I mean, how is WWE going to go about booking this match?
Mm-hmm. Now, what I've seen from PW Insider, this is what they're theorizing. So it doesn't look, the reports were that before he was going to India, he was going to get the title back. Mm-hmm. With Triple H giving out this challenge, I don't think that's going to happen. I think what PW Insider is saying sounds like it's right. So this is what they're theorizing. So they're going to have 2 tapings in their India tour, right? So obviously, first match would be against Triple H, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Triple H jobs for him because they're in India.
Yeah,
he beats Triple H somehow. Then, second taping, he will issue a challenge to AJ Styles for the title. AJ will accept, and Jinder will regain his title in India. That it seems like, why would they write it any different? You know what I mean?
That sounds about as logical as it gets. So,
yeah.
I can't disagree with that.
Right. And then, of course, you can take the strap off at any time after that tour is over, and then he can just fade into the sunset and go back into the Indies, and I would be happy.
And as far as I know, they're still planning on Jinder somehow. If he gets the strap back, he's going to take it to WrestleMania, and he'll defend it against John Cena, and where I believe he will lose to John Cena, obviously. So we'll see how they play that out. But we know for sure Jinder versus Triple H in New Delhi in the biggest match in the history of India. So I'm looking forward to possibly checking out the video of that.
It's going to be good TV. I mean, I love feeding off of a crowd. So obviously when Jinder comes out,